Good morning, everybody. And this is a great way to start a Monday morning. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us for this very important milestone in San Diego's infrastructure story. And joining me today is the chair of our infrastructure committee, Councilmember Mark Kersey, as well as City Council member Lori Zaff, who represents this great district. We also have Chris McFadden, the city's director of transportation and stormwater, Dave Martin, and many local District 2 residents, and of course, we have a bunch of great city employees who have been making our streets great. City employees, raise your hand. I'm going to give you a round of applause. Thank you, guys. Thank you, my man. Looking good. Proud of you, guys. Very proud of you. We are here, of course, to announce some big news for San Diego streets. As many of you know, a few years ago, I set an ambitious goal to fix 1,000 miles of streets in our city. And I promised that we would do that in an unprecedented amount of road repair in 5 years. And today we are proud to announce that this street right here marks the 1,000th mile that we have repaired. And we did it in just a little over 3 years. And so thank you, guys. So I think, as everybody knows, that those 1,000 miles have improved the quality of life in many of our neighborhoods. And those 1,000 miles have restored pride in our communities. And those 1,000 miles show a commitment to building a better future for all San Diegans. When I ran for mayor, the number one complaint the folks I spoke with was the poor condition of our city streets. Many couldn't remember the last time a road repair crew had visited their neighborhood. Many asked, of course, why are the streets so bad? And the truth is that fixing our streets just wasn't a priority of past city leaders. A decade ago, this city fixed just 25 miles of streets in an entire year. Think about that. That's about 2 miles of streets a month. That's not going to get the job done. So I knew that we couldn't wait any longer to invest in this critical need. And that's why in 2015, I committed to San Diegans that street repair would be the city's top infrastructure priority. When I first said we would fix 1,000 miles, you should have seen the look on the faces of many of the folks that are here today. It was a tall order, but they delivered. From the streets of Rancho Bernardo to Encanto to San Ysidro and hundreds of streets in between, road repair crews have been working their tails off to improve streets in neighborhoods throughout the entire city. They worked so hard, of course, that they were able to hit our goal ahead of schedule by 22 months. And we were able to get there by putting the focus back on road repair. We more than tripled the funding for road work. We implemented changes to hold contractors accountable for the quality of their work. And we made operational changes to speed up road repairs, from filling potholes to completing curb-to-curb repaving. And we made upgrades to our website so that people can track our progress and stay up to date on the road repair all on their own. And of course, we launched and upgraded the Get It Done smartphone app so that people can get those pesky potholes filled much, much faster. Remember when I just said that the city paved 25 miles of streets a decade ago? After implementing all of the reforms that I've just mentioned, we're now fixing an average of 25 miles of streets every single month. And that means more than 300 miles of streets every year, and residents are seeing the results. Repairing the 1,000 miles is a big milestone, but you don't have to drive too far around the city to know that there is a lot more work to do. It's 1,000 miles and counting, as far as I'm concerned. Street repair will remain a top priority. We're not going to take our foot off the gas. We're going to keep paving until every neighborhood has streets that they can be proud of. And we're not going to rest until every street in the city gets fixed. So how are we going to do that? We're going to ask voters to create the first dedicated funding stream for street repair in city history. A citizens initiative, as you know, recently qualified for a future ballot that would modernize and expand our convention center, grow our economy, and create thousands of jobs, and create billions in new funding for homeless services and street repair. With one vote, San Diegans will have the opportunity to take 3 of our biggest civic challenges and turn them into our biggest successes. Success for our local economy, success for our most vulnerable residents, and success for our neighborhoods. That's how we're going to fix the next 1,000 miles, and build our better future. But before I turn it over to the other speakers, I want to take a moment again to say thank you to the team of our city crews and city employees who really jumped into this and said, yes, we can make this happen, and yes, we can do it in a record amount of time. You all got the job done. I'm proud of you, and your city's proud of you. I have a list of names that would take me 10 minutes to read. I'm just going to say thank you again, guys. I'm very, very proud of you. And it is now my pleasure to introduce City Council Member Mark Kirsty, of course, who's chair of the city's Infrastructure Committee. Mark?
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everybody. When I took office 6 years ago, I started advocating for the creation of the Infrastructure Committee, which we did not have at that point. We got it created. I was named the chairman. I've been the chairman for the last 6 years. And at that point, we said we are focused and committed to rebuilding San Diego. And we also told people it would not happen overnight because we were making up for decades of neglect. And as the mayor had said, one of the biggest complaints I got, and probably all of our colleagues had gotten while campaigning for office, was the state of streets. And everybody asked, when is my street going to get repaved next? And so this truly is a crowning achievement for us, but we're not done. And I think it's important for people to recognize that while this is a great milestone, it by no means means that we are finished. We are going to continue to work on rebuilding our city, whether it's repaving roads, fixing sidewalks, rebuilding fire stations, opening new city parks. We are committed to doing all of these things because this is exactly what our constituents elected us to do. And so I'm proud to continue to lead the Infrastructure Committee. I'm proud of the progress that we have made. We know we still have a lot more work that needs to be done, but this council and this mayor are committed to rebuilding our city because at its core, this is what people expect local government to do. There's a lot of nonsense going on in Washington. There's a lot of nonsense that goes on in Sacramento. At the local level, people want their roads fixed, period. That's what they want. And that's what we're giving them, and that's what we're going to keep giving them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Mark. Go ahead, Lori. Now I'd like to introduce a council member for District 2, tireless champion for street repair, Lori Zapp. Guys.
All right, thank you. Wow, who would have thought street repaving would have been such a big story? It brings out the entire cabal of news media. I would have, because I have represented the District 2 Beach and Bay communities, and these are some of the most well-worn streets in the entire city. When you talk about Rosecrans and through the Midway area and Grand and Garnett and so on, but it's also the neighborhoods. And one of the biggest things that we can do to improve the quality of life in people's everyday lives is to repair their street. As Mark just talked about, it is remarkable to me that we didn't have an infrastructure committee. And I know the word infrastructure isn't, exactly a sexy word because it is the nuts and bolts of everyday local government. And it means your streets, your sidewalks, your street lights, your park and rec facilities, everything that we use every single day. And so it is just a thrilling moment right now that we actually have done right here in my district. I'm so proud of that, the 1,000th mile. And again, wow, thank you to a wonderful, wonderful city staff for doing this in 3 years, not 5. And so I just want to say this, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and everybody knows I've been a squeaky wheel. I used to have my pothole patrol, and now we went from pothole patrol to just like infrastructure patrol, and we get out there, our staff with our Get It Done apps, and we're out there self-reporting. But I just want to say thank you to the mayor, to our city staff. This is one of the most critical, essential things we can do to improve everyone's everyday life. And I just love driving down a smooth street, and I can't wait to have a lot more.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, council member. Terrific. And next, I'd like to introduce Dave Martin, who's a resident and a community leader in this district, to tell us just some of his thoughts about what streets mean in our neighborhoods. Dave, welcome.
Thank you very much, Kevin. As a resident of this community and all the way down through the peninsula, I'd like to thank these individuals that have worked so hard to get these streets started. I mean, Kevin has promised 1,000 miles. He's done it. The community appreciates it very much. We have more to do, but with the way it's structured and what's set up to go forward, I believe we'll get there. And getting there at 300 miles a year is not a bad idea. You know, it's dangerous. Some of the potholes, some of the cracks in the city streets, they're messing up vehicles. They're kind of dangerous to drive on. Putting this issue that's so important to our residents at the top of the priority list was terrific. And we appreciate not only Mayor Faulconer, but Chris and Lori for pushing it through. Mark and Lori, I'm sorry, Mark. But we really appreciate it, and we thank you very much. And again, we thank all the city staff that helped.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Well, terrific. Thank you, Dave. Look, this is the kind of work that we are continuing to do, and I just want to reiterate one more thing. As important as this milestone is, there's so much more to do. And we are committed to keeping this momentum going in every single neighborhood throughout the city. These teams are going to keep on rolling. And so we need to actually get out of their way so they can keep on doing their job. So, guys, thank you all for coming. Thank you, crew. Thank you, team. What an important milestone. And let's keep working. Thank you, guys. We'll all be available for one-on-ones. Thank you. All right, there we go. All right, well done. Thank you, guys. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mayor.